Hello guys, welcome all of you once again to another episode of Organizational Behavior. In this segment, we are going to learn the resistance to change. You all might have seen through your life that whenever some kind of changes comes into existence, people have the tendency to resist that change. For example, if a new bill is being introduced, say take the case of diesel prices. The government is going to increase the diesel prices at 50 paise per month. So there was a resistance to that change. The change was in the oil prices. So because of that, there was so much resistance by the major political parties. So we are going to discuss in detail what are the resistance to change, what are the factors involved. First of all is the individual factors. Under individual factors comes homeostasis. Refers to the tendency of organization to maintain equilibrium. This is something like Newton's first law. A matter in one state will try to be in that particular state unless and until an external force drives it away. So this refers to the Newton's first law of motion. It can be correlated with that. So it refers to the tendency of organization to maintain equilibrium. It doesn't want to get changed. It wants to maintain that equilibrium which it has been following for a very long time. Next comes habits. We have a saying in English saying that all habits die hard, something like that. Due to change, one has to learn new habits. So we were in one habit before the introduction of that change. Now with the change commences in an organization, one has to change, individual has to change, and he has to learn new habits. Then called primacy. The method of encountering the problems are to be established. It's not privacy, it's primacy. Primer or preliminary techniques needed. The method of encountering the problems that are to be established. A perception of individuals. This is one crucial factor. If you might have seen that when a new law is being introduced in the country, there are people who oppose and there are people who support the law. So this is something like that. It all depends due to the perception of individuals. Human beings has a tendency to remain in cognitively constant environment. Say for example, you have been working, take the case of any worker in one factory. He has been working from 9 to 5 non-stop, and he is getting paid for monthly. And with the introduction of new management, the time is going to be made like 9 to 6. Of course, there will be resistance always because the time has been increased. But what is underlying factor is that he wants to remain cognitively in a consonant environment. You might have heard about consonants and verbs. So this is consonant environment. That means he wants to remain in that equilibrium state, or he wants to remain in that solid state. He doesn't want to change. Then comes dependence. Individual tends to be dependent on seniors. That is one thing that you can see from our childhood to adulthood. When a kid is born, when a child is born, the child is completely dependent on his parents. As he grows older, once the dependency is not removed from that child, he is going to depend to his parents every single day of his life. And that's not really a great thing to follow. Then comes super ego. Now ego, as individuals are concerned, we have egos in one way or the other. So super ego, this represents individuals' moral codes of ethics that decide the do's and do nots of the society. Super ego. Ego means you have that inner feeling, I'm the greatest. It's all inside, into you. So super ego is something like which goes above that. Self-distrust. Puritanical views may result in distrust. Puritanical views means the views that we have been following in the past. So that may result in distrust because we have an inhibition to adhere to the changes. So that's self-distrust. Then insecurity and regression. Human tendency to seek refuge in the past when the going gets tough. Say for example, you have we never had computers until Charles Babbage is supposed to be the father of computers. But until Charles Babbage, there were several methods that we used to do for computing other things. So when that's insecurity or regression, say for example we are going to start a new venture and the going gets really tough because there are so many competitors in the market. Now once we are going to use a new technology and it doesn't click, still you have to get going, because there will be one day there will be a silver lining, silver shine in the cloud. So we have to make sure that we progress no matter what. We cannot resort to the old techniques unless and until it is entirely necessary.